in my genre, or almost any genre. You know the word genre, everybody, right? A type of fiction. In almost any genre, what it basically is, genre just means a contract between a writer and a reader, that the writer will deliver a certain amount of expected things. That's a genre. So if you are writing a Western, there has to be, you know, at least 1 or 2 gunfights. There probably should be horses. A few Native Americans wouldn't hurt, you know. And in my particular genre, I can do anything I want. I can be as ambitious as I want. I can be as literary as I want, as long as every 5 or 10 pages something really horrible tries to eat my main character. So I enjoy that part of the not the game, but yeah, it's a game. I enjoy that part of it because it's almost subversive. I can write anything. I can deal with big ideas. I can try to be an ambitious writer in my prose style. All those things, as long as I also do what the reader wants. The readers are very forgiving. They're interested in experiments and ideas, as long as you remember, you know, you are writing fantasy, so remember that, you know. And as a result, I find that I quite like the discipline. It's almost, for instance, why some people probably like to do ballet, classical corps de ballet, more than modern dance where you can do anything, because there's this rigorous tradition involved of learning all these things. And in a way, writing within a genre is like that. You know, you have to respect that genre, you have to like it, and you have to learn it. And I like that kind of, you make the pipe smaller and the water travels faster, there's more power. You narrow the possibilities, and then when something is artistic or surprising, then it's even more impressive because it is in this fiction that seems to be, you know, constrained. So, that makes sense? Okay, good. Yes?
Yeah, the question is about Adderland. There is this song that Martin told the child Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me an idea of the melody of that song?
I was just telling some friends who are here, I was telling some friends today that the most horrifying thing for me, not singing, it might be horrifying for you, but not for me. No, the most horrifying thing for me is that people come up to me and say, I want to ask you a question about, you know, in Stone of Farewell, there's this character, or you know, you remember so-and-so, and when he decides to do this, and he goes over here to do this, and I'm still going, there's a character named that? You know, I wrote some of these things now, you know, 30 years ago. I mean, it's getting to be quite shockingly far away. If I remember, the song in Otherland is the one that's something about an angel touched me, an angel touched me. I don't think, to be honest with you, sometimes, because I do music, sometimes I have melodies in my head. I don't believe I ever had a specific melody, or if I did, which I might have, it is so far in the past now, I cannot remember. But it is meant to be, unless it was a real song. No, it wasn't a real song. I don't think it was a real song. But it's meant to be a children's song. So any very simple melody like that would fit. And if you want to, you can email me and I'll try and find one for you. We still have all the CDs from when our kids were babies, and you know, we put them to bed at night and put on soothing music so they'd shut up and go to sleep. Yeah. But to be honest with you, that's the most I can remember. I don't think it actually had a melody. I think it was because it was only part of the song. So if it had been a longer song, I would have been thinking about the rhythm, and I would have probably started to think about a melody to make, you know, figure how it all worked. But it was just a section, so. Any other questions? How are we doing time-wise? We okay? Any other questions? Yes?
Do you like to go back to any of your previous universes and write something in those, or do you just always try to do something new?
Well, that's a very difficult question for me to answer right now, because I will tell you that I have some idea that I might go back and explore some things. But, you know, I don't want to commit to anything. But the problem for me has never been that I didn't want to go back to anything I'd already done. It was that I have to have an idea. The idea comes first. So if I had had an idea for Otherland, to go back and write more Otherland, I would. And in fact, I did have one, and I wrote a short story about Orlando after the Otherland books, which I think Klett publishes, don't they? The Happiest Dead Boy in the World, and and there might even be a audio thing. Yeah. So when an idea comes to me, and if an idea for a big novel comes to me, then it's very possible that I might do it again. I don't have anything against it, and it's just whichever idea becomes so big I have to tell it, that becomes my next story. So, but I'm also thinking about it more than I used to, because I'm thinking that, you know, some of these things I might be far enough away from them that it would be interesting to revisit. You know, I wouldn't feel like I was just cranking out the same thing over and over. It was a long time ago since I wrote some of them. So, other questions? Yes?
Are there any special reasons why The Dirty Streets of Heaven is written out of Bobby's own perspective instead of the...
Yes, actually. How much time do we have? Okay. Excuse me. I'm a butterfly. Yeah, actually. And it goes like this. I'll try to explain briefly. When I was first thinking of the idea, which was actually many years ago, I was thinking about it as a Cold War idea, and almost as an espionage book, because you have these two implacable powers that you know, have been fighting each other. But the interesting thing is what happens to the people who have to work in the middle, in the gray areas, in secrecy, you know? So when I was first thinking of Bobby Dollar, I was thinking of it almost like, yeah, like a Cold War book with, you know, with the spies in Berlin and things like that, you know, and secretly passing messages, and you don't know who's the double agent. But as I was playing with it more and more, and as I got near the point where I was maybe going to actually write it, I realized that one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to write a book for a change where I got to use a voice that was closer to my own, that I wanted to have the fun of writing something more modern, where I didn't have to constantly filter everything through them being, you know, in a pre-industrial or pseudo-medieval or future society, and I could come closer to using a natural voice to talk to the readers directly, just to do something different. And as I thought about this, I thought, you know what, actually the kind of story that I'm beginning to see is less like a spy novel, and it's more like a detective fiction, and especially noir, the noir school, Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett. And the thing about noir is it's not always told by the main character, but that is frequently one of the things. So I said, actually, that's really interesting, because the world this guy is living in is so much something that we hear about all the time, and it's you know, it's an idea that's in our culture, and what happens after you die. But if I had the main character talking about it, right away, you know, you're in it. You're not seeing it from outside, you're in it. And also, then I can also talk to the readers in a way I sometimes can't. You know, I can be more my natural self. I can bring a sense of humor to bear, which has always for me been a big part of who I am. And the other things I've done creatively, it's in my books, but it's often kind of, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, you know. And so I thought it would be really fun to try to do a noir detective type way of narrating, but I can take my own kind of dark humor and and bring it to bear. So once I thought of that, and as I said, the first time I sat down, and if it had not worked, I might have thrown it out. If I had started to write Bobby, and he turned out to be Yoda, you know, then I would have tossed it out. But the first time I sat down, that voice just came out, and the way he talked about things and the kind of things he was interested in. And it's not all me. He's not just me. He has some of my view of the world, but he is different. But it came out as if, like, this character was waiting and wanted to be written. So from that point on, I said, you know, okay, that's how I'll do it. And it just got to be more and more fun. You know, one of the things I think the people who have read these books, a lot of them have said, and some of the reviews have said, that they could tell I was having a good time when I was writing them, that there's a lot of crazy, absurd stuff and dark humor, and yes, there's still scary things and amazing things, I hope, but that was something that really kept me excited about the project, and still does, because I'm finishing the third one right now. So yeah, so that's it. Just a chance to talk directly to the readers, and the chance to use a little humor to tell the story. If we have anybody have one last.